Good morning, people. Another lovely, bright and sunny morning. Rather chilly first thing, but the temperature is picking up again, and I think we're probably due another high teens. It was up to around sort of 18, 19, 20 yesterday. As I saw my parents off onto the train, we grabbed a quick coffee, sat out on the terrace. One of my favourite things to do, honestly. Like, that's one of the best things about France, like that sort of cafe coffee culture, especially in the summer months, the warmer months, just being able to sit outside, watch the world go by, have a coffee. I actually had an iced coffee for the first time this year, which just shows how warm it must have been, but really, really nice to do that. Bit sad to see my mum and dad go, I must admit. I sort of felt a little bit, I've noticed a bit of a pattern. Usually what happens a couple of weeks before I know I'm due to see them, so whether that's us going to the UK, whether that's them coming here, I get this little like low sensation, and I think it's because it suddenly hits me that I haven't seen them for X amount of time, however long that might have been, whether it's 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, and I get that little weird feeling of like I've like missed them for that time, but then also the sort of excitement that I'm going to get to see them. And I think it was that same sensation like earlier this week. Obviously, Lara and I had been away. We'd had a really, really nice weekend, and then we got back, and all of a sudden, Mum and Dad are going, and it was just one of those weird feelings again. So yeah, had a slightly odd, low couple of days. I've also just been feeling really quite tired, like struggling to get out of bed in the morning. It's just none of these things are very like me, and I think a lot of it's mood related. Again, I always want to be quite open and upfront in these videos. I think there has been a little bit of low mood on my part. Just I don't really know. There's a lot going on, and I think it's just been trying to make sense of a lot of things. And then, as I say, like missing my family, missing my parents, then them obviously coming, and then being sad that they're going again. And it's just been one of those, weird times. But I've been to the gym this morning, had a pretty decent session. I'm still struggling a little bit with some of the bigger movers. Things like my RDLs just aren't really feeling particularly strong. A lot of other stuff is going well, so it's not like every single movement just feels absolutely terrible and heavy and isn't making any progress. But my RDLs are feeling, pretty sticky at the minute. But that'll come back. I think some of it's also just being a little bit all over the place when it comes to like I say, sleep and everything else. But just need to stay consistent with it, keep on top of them, keep pushing them, keep progressing them as much as I can. And they'll come back. That strength will come. So not too bad a session this morning. Back and hamstrings after doing a little bit of check-in work first thing. So I'll get back home, have a quick shower, get back to work, get back to check-ins, get back to writing new plans, and we'll see what the day brings. I'm hoping I'm going to get out for a little walk in the sunshine as well, because since we've been back, it's just been go, go, go. Had a tiny little bit of a walk just sort of around town with Mum and Dad yesterday while we grabbed that coffee, and it was absolutely glorious to be out in the sunshine. Just made me realise how much I've missed that as well, because it just feels like ages since there's been some proper sun. Hopefully I'll get out for a little bit of a walk at some point this afternoon. We shall see. It's just there. Like, a lot is happening. Life is busy, as it is for everyone. And we had said, Lara and I last night, that it'd be quite nice if we could, when we pick Louis up from the childminders, even if we just wander around, we've got a little park just sort of on the estate. It'd be quite nice to just get him out there, let him have a little run around and a play around before we then get into the sort of dinner, bath and bed routine. So we shall see, but hopefully we'll get a little bit more outside time. The nights are getting lighter later. Just generally looking forward to the warmer, sunnier, brighter, longer days coming, which it feels like they're on their way. What is up, people? What day are we today? Thursday morning. Lara is in the office, which means Louis is all my responsibility. No, it's all good. We do that twice a week. Usually it's like Mondays and Thursdays. Lara goes to the office, which means everyone's up nice and early. Usually Louis not up quite as early as us, but this morning he decided that 5:45 was going to be a good time to wake up. So he was up very early indeed. Usually he will sort of stay asleep till 6:15, which is when we have to get him up, get him sorted, and then we need to be out the door fairly sharpish so I can drop Lara off at the station before coming home, getting him his breakfast, and then heading to the childminders. But yeah, he decided he was going to be awake nice and early today, so I suspect he's had a nice early nap at Monique's, which yeah, he'll feel much better for, because he was very, very tired when I took him up there, I must admit, like really, really tired. But yeah, just done my gym session, push session, felt okay. Pretty much held everything. A couple of minor little rep progressions from last week. Feeling a little bit better today. I think I mentioned in yesterday's video that I'd felt a little bit low. Yeah, that was yesterday morning. I felt much better as the day went on yesterday. I think just got out for a nice walk, got some sunshine, had a really nice like creative bit of time while I was out, recorded lots of videos, like lots of ideas came. And I think sometimes I need that, I think it's when you just sat like at the desk, sat in my office, it's like, it's great, don't get me wrong, like it's amazing that I can do everything that I want and need to do from home. But I do think the creativity sometimes can lack in those moments, and getting outside and just getting in the fresh air, getting the sunshine, I always find I'm much more creative in those moments. So yeah, I had a really good spell of creativity, got loads and loads of stuff done, and just like I say, just generally felt much more with it, and like I was getting a lot more done. So really cool to have had that sorted. Just heading home now, so I'll get a quick shower and then crack on with the day. Plenty of stuff to be getting on with today, lots of stuff that needs doing, so it's going to be a busy one, but I'm looking forward to it. It's I feel a bit more settled in a routine as well. Like with mum and dad here, as amazing as it was, it's always quite hard to not feel too settled, because I'm conscious of wanting to spend time with them. I'm conscious of not necessarily wanting to be completely chained to my desk for 10-12 hours a day while mum and dad are here, and them just sort of not really enjoying any of the time with me and with Lara. So they are home now, and that means I can just focus a little bit more without necessarily feeling like I want or should be elsewhere. But yeah, we'll crack on. We'll get on with this week, and we'll see where we're at. I also dropped a little bit more weight this morning. Only a little bit, only 0.2 of a pound, but it does mean that the weight is continuing to come down in the right direction. And especially even when training today, like I just see a lot more, there's a lot more muscle striations, like a lot more of that definition coming out, a lot more of that vascularity. All of those are very, very good signs that body fat is coming off. So let's keep pushing. Good morning. It is a very foggy morning, which you might be able to see just like above the gym there. Yeah, early doors, Sunday morning, leg session done. Felt pretty tough, particularly those hack squats. Actually, I had a good couple of movements before that. So my adductors, a little bit of progress on those. My seated ham curls, a little bit of progress on those. Let me just put this stuff in here. And then, yeah, hack squats felt incredibly heavy today. Single leg press was pretty good. And then calves and leg extensions following that. Let me just get this all going, turn this down a bit. Here we go, just on the way home now. It is 8 o'clock in the morning, so finished up in good time. Lara and Louis are both awake at home. I doubt they've been up very long, because Louis has been having some pretty decent lay-ins at the weekend. So we'll go and say hello, we'll go and get some breakfast, and then fingers crossed this this very sort of foggy morning is going to clear. I'm hoping the sun's going to burn it all off, because we'd quite like to go for a nice walk. Yesterday was cool. We went into town, had Lara and Louis went to like baby reading in the morning, while I just got a little bit of stuff done. And then we all walked into town in the afternoon. Louis had a nice little stroll about. We grabbed a coffee. Really nice sunny afternoon. So we're, as I say, very much hoping that today is going to be more of the same, because the grass could also do with a cut. So again, I'm hoping that the fog, the mist is going to burn off, the dew, etc. is all going to clear, so that I can actually mow the lawn when it's dry and not when it's all wet, because it gets all cloggy and horrible when you try and mow the lawn when it's wet. So yeah, let's get home, have some breakfast, see everyone, make sure everyone's all good, and then we'll see what the day brings. Also, completely forgot to say that Friday I guested on another men's mental health podcast, which was a really, really cool podcast to be a part of. The host was really cool on there as well. Just a really, really nice thing, a nice opportunity to just share a little bit more about my journey, some stuff on there that you may not have heard before. I don't know how openly and publicly some of that stuff I have spoken about before. So when that gets released, which is due to be early April, I shall of course share the link. I would be very, very grateful indeed for anyone who wants to have a listen to that. It'd be amazing. Anyone who wants to support Dan, who is the guy that runs that podcast. It's a podcast called Good Enough Chats. There are lots of previous episodes, lots of like amazing men who have shared their stories. And again, all for like really, really good causes. Essentially, it's just continuing to raise awareness around, men's mental health, which doesn't always get a huge amount of attention. And I think it's trying to like break the stigma that men do and are allowed to have issues with their mental health, but also that we should be talking about them more. So yeah, that was a really, really good podcast. And as I say, I will share more details about that once it's all released. What is going on, people? Monday morning, last weigh-in taken for ready for this week's check-in, and we're down £2 on average, which is really, really, really good. New lows happened this week as well, which I think is absolutely awesome. It's just nice to see when you're putting in the effort. It's nice to see it rewarded. I know it can be quite frustrating at times where you're doing everything right and the number on the scale doesn't necessarily move as you want or expect it to. So for that to be moving, really cool. Starting to see a few new bits and pieces happen, like new lines, etc., coming out in the gym as well, which is also fantastic. Just a good week on the whole. With training's been pretty good again. I've just noticed there's a chicken. How random! There's a chicken down there. Anyway, that completely threw me. There's not normally chickens there, so I don't know where on earth that has come from. Anyway, what was I talking about? I don't know. Diet, eating chickens and rice? Who knows? Doing the right things, scales moving in the right direction. That totally threw me. It's been a good week. As I say, £2 down on average, some new lows this week. Some good stuff happening in the gym. The physique's looking like it's sort of coming a bit more to life, starting to see the new lines, starting to see a bit more of that like vascularity coming through, all of the stuff that you would expect to happen when fat loss is taking place is happening. So all good stuff. Pictures obviously will follow tomorrow once I've sent my check-in tomorrow morning and Christian sent me a reply tomorrow. We had a really, really nice weekend as well. Super sunny, still blue skies here today. Up around the high teens, 20 degrees. Managed to get out for some good walks. We came very, very close to experiencing the first tantrum out in a shop with Louis. He didn't quite go full tantrum, but he was He was definitely getting close to it. He was tired. He needed to get to bed, but we needed to pop into a shop first before we went home. And yeah, he was on the brink. He was on the brink. He started to get a bit tearful, and I ended up having to take him outside while Lara finished off paying. But once he was outside, he was okay. He was just getting a bit fed up being in the shop, I think. So anyway, situation managed. First tantrum avoided. But yeah, well, I think we've got more of this to come because he's approaching a terrible 2's age. But I will touch base again tomorrow. I will see you then. What is good, people? Hope you are well. That is the check-in sent and the check-in reply received. And yeah, really, really good week. As I mentioned yesterday, the average is down £2, which is a really, really solid effort. And again, you know, we're moving in a really good direction. Like, I mean, Christian sort of said in his check-in reply, you know, it's pretty easy at the moment. It's not necessarily feeling overly easy for me as such. You know, hunger is there. But I tell you what does make it easier, and it's something that I've been talking about a little bit more recently. When you have a really, really strong reason to do something, whatever that thing is, it becomes much easier to stick to. And dieting is a good example of that, like fat loss, being in a calorie deficit, trying to lose weight, trying to lose fat. You are going to have times where you're hungry. You are going to have times where you're tired. You are going to have to make decisions that you don't necessarily want to make, or sacrifices that have to be made. It's far easier to make those decisions. It's far easier to stick to things if there is a pretty deep reason to do it. And I know some people might also be sat there thinking, what's deep about just wanting to do a photo shoot? Like, you know, it's quite vain. It's quite self-indulgent, and yeah, it is to some extent, but it means a lot to me. Like, it means a lot to me to be in that kind of shape. It means a lot to me to put myself through what I'm going through, to showcase what can be done, to be a leader for my clients, for my potential future clients. Like, all of this stuff means a huge amount to me. I don't think there's any shame in admitting that my physique means a lot to me. Again, something that a lot of people probably hide behind a little bit. You know, if you genuinely just want to look really fucking good, you should be proud to say that. You shouldn't have to feel like it's like a vain thing and it's a negative thing. And that sort of idea that it is potentially holding you back, actually. Like, if you are somebody who wants to get in better shape, wants to look better, wants to lose some weight, lose some body fat, see their abs, get more toned, get more defined. If you want to achieve those things, but you're scared to admit them because you're worried about what other people might think about you, that's a pretty big issue. You know, that's something that we do need to work on, because you should be proud to want those things. You should absolutely want to just smash through those goals you have, because they make you feel fucking good. And that is okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's amazing. And the more that you attach to that, the more that you dig into that, the more that you connect with that, the far more likely it is to happen. So let's make sure that we're not shying away from the fact that we want to look good. That is fine. That is okay. That is important. But I will pop my pictures up here for you. Feeling okay in these. The lighting's gone a little bit up and down, so I do apologise. Like, some of them look a little bit darker than others. The lighting's a bit of a pain in this room at times, like trying to open the blind, shut the blind, use the lights. I do probably need to find a better way of getting a slightly more consistent lighting in here for those progress pictures. But you can see from them, things are tightening up. You know, the waist is coming in particular, like my general sort of midsection, six-pack is starting to show a lot more. I'm starting to see more lines and stuff come through, particularly when I'm training, which is always a positive. I'm starting to get more of that vascularity come in, and I've never been a particularly vascular person. So it's always nice to see those. You know, I recall the first time I saw that bicep vein was a pretty big moment. But yeah, all in all, it's going well. No changes again, just another consistent week ahead. So continuing to do exactly what I have been doing, nailing the diet, nailing the cardio, getting my steps in, keeping nice and active, keep training hard, and everything's going to continue to fall into place. So I will leave this one here. Keep your eyes peeled for the podcast that I've guested on. As I say, I will share more details of that as and when it gets released, which should be at the start of April. But it was a really, really good one to be part of. Like, again, that whole men's mental health piece is something that I feel very, very strongly about. And the more of that message that we can get out there, the better that's going to be for absolutely everyone involved. So keep your eyes peeled, share that one. And any likes, subscribe, shares of this as well would be very much appreciated indeed. And I'll be back next week with another episode.